Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, this time with an overview of the 10 for the Chairman special edition on Professions and Alpha 3.0. Chris Roberts was joined by director of the Persistent Universe, Tony Zerovic, to answer some subscriber questions about the professions that we might see in 3.0 and that will be starting to be fleshed out then, with an emphasis on cargo and mining. Some of these, as I said, as we talk about them, will be included in a 3.0 release in the early stages. Some are longer term mechanics, but expect a lot of this gameplay to be fleshed out and implemented during 2017 and beyond. Cargo and smuggling. So we're going to be able to physically see boxes and crates of items that we buy. If we're on a planet or a warehouse, we might see representations of that where possible. In warehouses, we might see large crates of iron and steel and stuff that we might be able to buy. Some items might be too large to see or to be delivered to us traditionally, and to purchase these larger items we need to go and purchase them through shopping kiosks, whereas smaller items like personal weapons, as we have at the moment in ArcCorp, can be purchased via the shelf, bought over the counter, or via Mobiglass. Shops will have limited inventories of wares, and items will be represented where possible. In the first implementation, larger cargo containers bought from shops will typically be spawned into your cargo bay of your ship and despawned once sold. That is very early first implementation of cargo. That kind of eventual plan is to have significant times to load and unload based on how much you have to load and unload onto your ship. And this might even generate missions for players and NPCs. The goal is at bigger ports that loading and unloading services will be a thing. Players and NPCs will take that role, but at smaller ports, you might have to kind of load and unload yourself. So there will be cargo loading and unloading, but in the first implementation, it's going to be the loading and unloading of smaller boxes. Some items may need to be delivered by hand too. Eventually, everything will have time, cost, or a need to be unloaded somehow. Smuggling smaller items is a thing. You will be able to carry them around on your person as well, so the smaller items will be basically easier to smuggle. You're not going to be able to smuggle giant container ships full of goods. Well, you might be if you're clever enough, I suppose. Longer term, you will have both manual and automatic, as well as NPC-assisted loading and unloading of cargo. There will be equipment that will allow you to move bigger containers around. Some standard size and larger cargo containers will have sort of gravity-lev jack stuff, and then potentially there will be other ways and other vehicles to move around containers, and the stuff like the Argo will be able to move around smaller cargo containers onto larger ones and that sort of stuff. You will also be able to hide contraband or items around your ship too. The item system allows for a huge amount of manipulation, physically opening drawers, containers, hidey holes, and that sort of stuff, and then stuffing bags of narcotics in them and stuff if you need to hide them. Salvage. Salvage is going to be broken up into two major parts. Salvaging functioning modules and repairing them for a sales state or use state, and scrapping, which will be salvaging metals and raw resources, munching them down. So literally changing the hull plating into steel or whatever. Players may know where valuable salvage is on a ship typically, or they might want to nom up an entire ship for all the metal too. Scanning and knowing the aspects of a ship and therefore what's best to salvage is a major part of the gameplay there. You might know that a part of our hull has titanium armor on and therefore is more valuable, so you want to just spend your time doing that, or you might want to dissolve the whole ship into your salvage tank. Nom nom nom. Time and risk is a factor here. Pirates or the original owners might turn up, that sort of thing. Space hazards. You'll have to maintain your ship. Fuses or components might blow or get damaged. There will be various hazards in space, from meteor showers, micro black holes, derelicts, pirates, the Vandal. Some of these will be valuable discoveries to sell to other people. You find a micro black hole, you might be able to sell that to an NPC, or to you might just get rewarded for discovering that sort of thing. They might even lead to more missions or loot, and some will just be dangerous and have to be avoided. Some you might be able to mitigate by having escorts. Like, you buy escorts for yourself, that kind of helps mitigate the risk of, one, encountering pirates, two, fending them off. Persistence and destructibles. The roadmap for the year is to include more and more persistence. Items will have different levels of importance that will kind of define their persistence through the entity owner manager. That's one of the systems that they use. So landing a ship on a planet or station, that's going to stay there, that ship. It's important, that ship. There's a player owner, and you might want to come back to it at any time. There will be plenty of destructibles, and blowing stuff up will be a thing. There will definitely be some areas where they will not want player-generated mayhem, but there certainly could be cases where they do want that. Decals, shells, and debris, they will fade over time. They're not that important. Some items might not be discerned as important. NPCs will be responsible for upkeeps of minor stuff in the universe or cosmetic things that don't warrant a whole mission. So smash a trash can over or knock over a bucket, and an NPC might come over to clean up or mop. A simple example of the persistence in this state is the comm satellites and points of interest. They're going to have their persistence saved based on if you damage or repair them, and then the verse will go, this has been repaired. It stays as repaired until it's damaged again. This has been damaged. It stays damaged until it's repaired again. Very simple persistence there. Mining in 3.0. So there's going to be basic mining in 3.0. It won't be a fully fleshed out experience, but it will give players the ability to mine, gather resources, as well as a taster of the profession. It will continue to receive updates and features until it's fully fleshed out, but even the first implementation will have a lot of interesting gameplay. Missions and reputation. Having the right ship for a job is a factor and will be important. That will get you, for example, having a cargo ship might get you access to basic cargo missions. But you are going to have to build up a reputation with factions or individuals for better or different missions, typically of that type. So do a lot of pirate killing missions for one faction, and you might get a mission to blow up the HQ in an area. Transport reliably for a few runs in a cargo ship, and you might get a more dangerous, highly valuable run of weapons that pirates are after or something. But ship reputation, equipment, all that sort of stuff is important for all of the missions, as well as what area of the space it's happening in. So risk and reward is a factor. Small ships might be able to turn a profit by hauling contraband, whereas larger cargo ships will typically need volumes of legal wares to make the UECs. You can move fluidly between professions as well. You don't need to requalify if you want to do something and then come back later. It will be partly down to the equipment, ships, and reputation that you have, though, whether you are able to move fluidly and easily into like high-level other jobs and roles. Autopilot. There will be a simple autopilot function that you can kind of command your ship to go from A to B. It will kind of avoid objects and avoid crashing into things where it can, and it will allow you to move around your ship. But you can get an NPC to take the helm if you have one available. They will be able to evade fire, follow commands, and generally be a lot better and more functional than an autopilot. And it won't be overly micromanagey. They don't want this to be SimCitizen. They don't want you to have to command everyone on a capital ship. The idea is that while in Quantum Drive or SCM, you'll be able to run around and fix items around the ship, or do things to not be bored. You also get warnings and get pulled out of Quantum Drive if there's a distress signal or big object or someone interdicting you or whatever. So there are things to do, and there will be risks. There will be other interesting things that happen on your journeys. And that was kind of it for 10 for the Chairman Special Edition on Professions. Those questions were voted on and put forward by subscribers on Spectrum, so get involved with that sort of stuff if you're interested. Commenting on any of our Star Citizen videos during a given month gives you a chance to win a ship for the month of March. That's an Avenger. So tell me, are you excited for the basic implementation of mining in 3.0? Do you expect to see early salvage mechanics in 3.0 now as well, seeing the title of the video was Roles and Professions in 3.0? I'm assuming that salvage is a possibility to have in 3.0 or around then, so please tell me what you think there. Also, if you've got questions for this sort of thing, drop them in the comments below, because I might ask them. If you're not a subscriber yourself, I will steal the best questions. So yeah, thank you very much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help me a lot. You can also support me on the Patreons for people that feel so inclined. Take care, guys, and I will see you in the verse.